Alright, this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have a very special treat for you. This is a fruit that probably not many people have heard of. What we're going to juice today is loquats. No, not kumquats. Kumquats are in the citrus family. This is a loquat, originally from Asia. So here in California, they're one of the first springtime fruits to become available. It's an evergreen tree, has these nice large leaves, and the fruits are at the end of the branches in a big cluster. There's one there, and here's just some fruits here, and they have soft seeds inside. Let's go ahead and open one up, show you what it looks like inside. Basically, this is the fruit here. We're going to just literally take my thumbnail and try to kind of cut it in half so you can kind of see the side shot. It has these nice big pits in there. 3 pits, usually 1 to 3 pits. Here's the fruit here. The fruit is mostly seed. This is a wild variety, so they have name varieties that are actually grown for fruit that have more fruit mass, but this is an unnamed variety, just a wild growing loquat. They're really quite delicious, originally from Asia. So we're going to juice loquats today. So nobody has ever asked me, hey John, does the Omega VERT juice loquats? Well, we're going to find out today. So let's get started. So what we've done here is we've removed all the pits. The VERT will probably handle the pits. We'll try that in just a minute. But what we did to make things much easier is we just basically removed all the pits. So we have one bowl here of pitted loquats. And we'll also add the one that I just made in as well. And you can see we just pitted these within a half hour ago. And even though we just did it a half hour ago, the fruit basically oxidizes and is turning brown really fast. So that's one reason why you've probably never seen loquats in the store, is because once you pick them, they go bad really fast, especially if they're single and separate. So if you are picking these and buying these, you want to try to pick them and buy them on the branch, much like buying tomatoes on the vine. They're going to stay fresher a little bit longer, but that being said, they have a relatively short shelf life, so they don't ship well. So unless you live in a place where there's a farmer's market or you could grow a tree, you're probably never going to be able to enjoy loquat fruits. They have a nice flavor. You want to get them as dark as possible. So this is actually a nice dark orange color. They're riper when they're orange, and if they're kind of yellowish, they're not ripe, and if they're green, they're really not ripe. So if you're picking them in the tree, you want the ones at the very top, at the very end of the branch. They tend to ripen up first. So without further ado, let's get juicing. So we're going to turn the Omega VERT juicer on. Runs at a low 70 to 80 RPMs. This is the best juicer to juice fruits if you do want to juice fruits. Now we're going to juice our loquats here. We'll just start feeding them through the machine, and let's see how the Omega VERT does juicing loquats. Now I've never juiced loquats before in my whole life. I've usually only ever eaten them fresh because they're just so delicious to eat fresh. You can't eat the skin on these, although many people do peel them because the skin will taste, not quite bitter, but just not as good as just the flesh of the fruit itself. So there you go, fresh squeezed loquat juice. This has a nice coloring like an apricot, and probably apricot-esque flavor, but it's a flavor unique totally to this. Some people would say it's a tart flavor. They can definitely be tart if they're not quite as ripe. So you can see here the Omega VERT juicing loquats really well. All the pulp's coming out. It's fairly dry, and we're getting a good amount of juice. Now to me, that doesn't necessarily look like a juice. It looks more like a nectar. So like when you're juicing many fruits in the Omega VERT juicer, you will get more of a nectar rather than a juice. So be sure to check my other videos on juicing fruits in the Omega VERT juicer. I did a marathon fruit juice off in the Omega VERT, and we juiced over a dozen kinds of fruits, and you can see all the different types and how they all came out. So that's pretty much it. That's all the loquats, pitted loquats. Omega does say you can juice the pits of cherries, and the pits of the loquat don't seem that hard as a cherry. So let's drop those in and see what happens. Alright, there you go. The Omega VERT juicer can juice loquats with the pits. You can literally hear the pits being pulverized by the Omega VERT juicer. It's so powerful. Here, I'll go ahead and feed one in. The Omega VERT takes it and just pulverizes it, and you can see the pits coming out here in the pulp. So the pits, while they are being crushed up, probably very minimal of the pit is being actually juiced, because most of it is just fiber and it's just coming out with a pulp. And actually it seems like the Omega VERT is working a little bit better now with the loquats with the pits, because there's more fiber. Now the Omega VERT juicer does need some fiber so it'll work the best. And it looks like it's working really well. I'm just going to juice a couple more loquats here, and I can't wait to taste this delicious loquat juice. Alright, look at that, working really good, nice, good juice coming out. It's very important when you're using the Omega VERT juicer, after you feed the last produce item into the machine, you know, just let it run a couple more minutes. You can see juice is still dripping out. That's because there's still pulp inside the machine that's getting worked through as we're talking. It does take a little bit of time for the Omega VERT juicer to work, so it's definitely good when you're juicing with the Omega VERT juicer to slow down. So I think we've slowed down enough and waited quite enough. We're going to go ahead and turn it off. And let's see, so we made about almost 3 cups of loquat juice, or loquat nectar. It's a nice thick juice here. This stuff oxidizes really fast, so very important when you're juicing loquats or any other juice for that matter. You want to drink it as soon as you can after it's made, because once you do break open the cell walls of the fruits or vegetables, they start to oxidize. With apples you can see it because it'll start to turn brown instantly. But everything else oxidizes as well. It just doesn't happen quite as fast. So drink the juice right after it's made for the highest benefit. All right, I'm going to enjoy some fresh loquat juice. First time ever. Wow. This stuff is totally amazing. It's like apricot banana nectar is what it tastes like to me. It's so good and so delicious. So this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.